let's do it. I'm Black Hannibal, running through your capital on elephants. Civilized a savage with my elegance. Militant intelligence, run through your defense. Strike like a ninja, slice, cut, and injure. Leave no prisoners, just bodies on the battlefield. I'm Spartacus with a sword and shield. Something like a marksman with cold blue steel. War paint on my face, keep my identity concealed. Advance on your camp like dozens of killer ants. Snatch your king like chess, checkmate, this is death. While my team have fun with your queen. Throw your bishops off the roof, your knights flee the scene. I plant bombs in the home of your pawns. The detonation shook the foundation of your rooks. Holding shotguns with double barrels. They impact so hard when it blasts through your body travels. Street Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Burn your flag as I overthrow your government. New politics, no Democrats and Republicans. Spiritual systems built by wise men who's true in living. The foundation's no longer Christian. Teaching universally the wisdom of the nations. New currency, no more dollar bills with white faces. No more Caucasian domination. All races participating, cultivating education. The people hungry and they ain't waiting. No more debating. Let's overthrow the haven to Satan. This whole world needs some new changes. Rulers with new faces. It's time to take out the racists. Spartacus from the new ages. From the page to the stage, pull a blade on the money changers. Spartacus from the new ages. From this page to the stage, pull a blade on the money changers.
Get on the screen. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? All right. Let's get things started. How's everybody doing? I know there's a lot of different lives going on. A lot of people that, will support me. If you do come in, let me know if you guys can hear me, because I'm not sure. I think you can. But let me just check something. But if you are here, just put a 1 in the chat to let me know that you can hear me, because I am not sure. Guys should be able to hear me based on what I'm seeing on the test. But all right. So I'm gonna get started because I don't want to be on here too long. I'm trying to let a couple of people come in. I know a lot of people are going live tonight, a lot of people's favorites. I know I haven't been on as frequently as a lot of y'all favorites, but that's cool. I don't mind. But what I wanted to do today is I wanted to deliver this message today. Didn't want to let it go. Didn't want to let today go by. Let tonight go by exactly. And the reason being is this is a very, 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 very powerful time. It is also a very chaotic time. Okay, we got a lot of things going on. We already know what's going on in the world. All right, inflation, war in Ukraine, Trump's getting raided by the FBI. Right, there's a lot of things happening. You name it. New variants of the Rona. They said something new is coming. You got the monkey thing, right? We are in serious times, which is what I basically said last time, that we are in serious times right now. Now, listen, again, as I said in my last live, even though we're in serious times, there's really no need to worry. All the prophecies from the book of Revelation to the Hopi prophecy to the Mayans say that we are going to win. Okay? And by we, I mean those of us that have been cast aside. The last shall be first, right? So those who have been downtrodden, those who have been taken advantage of by the system, those who have been manipulated, those who have been brainwashed, those of us who have been miseducated by society, those of us who have been made to be pawns for this system. And you got to realize in this system, that's really what it is. We are made to be pawns. We are created to be pawns. We are created to be slaves in this system. Like Morpheus said in the Matrix, we are created to be batteries to power the Matrix. So if we're created to be batteries to power the Matrix, then there is a lot of re-education that needs to go on, right? There's a lot of change and transformation that needs to happen, right? So that's what this time is really about. The new moon is actually going to be peaking in about actually 30 minutes on the dot. It's 9:09 here, so in 30 minutes it's going to start peaking. However, the good thing about this moon, and we'll get into this, right into it. This full moon is a super moon. Okay, we've had the last couple of moons that we've had have all been super moons. So this is the last super moon of the year. What does it mean? What am I talking about? What the heck is a super moon? A super moon, it only means that it is closer to the earth, right? So it's closer to the earth. So therefore it is bigger and brighter. And I don't know if you guys have been looking at the moon or looking up lately, but here where I live in New York City, there is like a yellow tint on the moon, right? It's not like I do. I'm a moon gazer. You know, the spiritual thing is something that I do, but there is a yellow tint on this particular moon, which is very, very, very interesting. And it's been yellow since it's been kind of like on its ascension, so to speak, as it's going from, because the moon starts off when it's a new moon, then it's in a what you call a waxing phase. And that waxing phase basically just means that the moon is getting brighter and brighter and brighter until it becomes full, right? As the earth rotates and the light of the sun is able to shine on the moon, then therefore the light from the sun and the moon reflects on the earth. So you have a full moon. But this particular moon is yellow. And the particulars about this particular moon is that you also have the combination of the star Sirius with this full moon. Now, the full moon is in Aquarius. We're going to get to that, right? We'll get to that shortly. Why the full moon in Aquarius, what that means, right? But Leo season and the energy of Leo is really the focus, right? And the reason why I say it is the focus is because of Sirius. And Sirius, the star Sirius. Now, the star Sirius is what the African spiritual tradition, right? They talk about the Dogon tribe, right? And there was a tribe in northern Africa called the Dogon tribe. And what they taught was that mankind, right, especially melanated beings, right, mankind descended from the star Sirius, right, came down here in the form of what they called the Nomo. The Nomo were fish, right? We're full moons in Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is an air sign, but if you look at the visual of the or the glyph, how you speak, or the symbol of Aquarius, you'll see that it's a man pouring water, okay, or somebody pouring water. It looks like they're pouring water from the heart, right? Based on what the actual glyph looks like. Aquarius, they're pouring water from the heart, right? And Leo season, which we are in, is dealing with nothing but the heart. Okay. When you're talking about Leo or lion symbolism, right? You're definitely always talking about the heart. There's other correspondences as well that correspond with the lion, right? Just to give you guys some signs and symbols so you know what to look at. And the reason we talk about these signs and symbols, those of us that are in esoteric spirituality, or those of us that deal with metaphysics or the occult, the reason we deal with signs and symbols is because when we are out in the world and when we are walking down the street, watching ladies going around watching you. But now, when you are in the street and you are moving around, going shopping, whatever, buying your new dress, buying a shirt from your boyfriend, getting something from your girl, whatever the case is, right? There are things that pop up in your day-to-day life. There's numbers, numerology, there's sacred geometry, different shapes, and there's also symbols, right? So when you look at this particular lion or this zoomorphic image, right? It doesn't just mean, oh, it's a lion and oh, the lion growls and it's king of the jungle. No. When you're looking at symbolism, what you want to do is you're looking at the characteristics of the lion. So I said the lion is symbolic to the heart, right? So the heart, right, is the first thing that is created when you are born. When you are born, your heart is the first. When you're created, actually, before you're born, before you come out of your mother's womb, actually, when the sperm hits the egg and while you are in development as a zygote, the first thing that is formed is the heart. Okay? So the heart is the seat of all intelligence. Okay? Now, why is a lion, right, symbolic to the heart? Well, the lion is called the king of the jungle. Okay? The king of you, your internal jungle is your heart. Okay? You could survive being brain dead. You could get shot up, be brain dead, have no motor function, can't move your arms, leg, head, nothing, be laid in the bed in a coma. As long as your heart is still beating, as long as your heart is still beating, you are still alive. So as long as your heart is still beating, you will still live. You could snap out of the coma, you could heal from being brain dead, whatever it is. But once that heart stops beating, it's over. It's a wrap. There's no more coming back. Okay? Once that heart stops beating and you take that last breath, it's over, no matter what. All right. So when we're talking about coming into our heart space, especially in Leo season and it being the king of the jungle and it being the first thing created, we have to realize that the heart is the seat of the soul, ultimately. The heart is the seat of the soul. Why is the heart the seat of the soul? Again, just like we said, without the heart, you wouldn't be here. So when you have solar events, and I talked about this my last live, I don't want to get too deep into it for time's sake, but when we're talking about solar events, we're talking about whatever our purpose is, that's one, or the lion that we are, right? The lion within, we're talking about solar events. So we're talking about our purpose, why we're here, what our destiny is, what our goal is, what are we trying to achieve, what are we trying to transform, how are we going to change our lives, right? This is whatever your purpose is. If you're here to be the best carpenter in the world, if you're here to be the best painter in the world, if you're here to be the best doctor in the world, if you're here to be the best basket weaver in the world, if you're here to be the best hat maker in the world, best fork maker in the world, right? Everyone has a purpose and everyone has joy and glee in doing whatever their purpose is, right? So a lot of people want to be rich. You want to be a quadrillionaire, right? We all want that, right? But there's some people who won't be happy, believe it or not, with $1 quadrillion, with $1 million, right? It may do more harm than good. But that same person may be happy literally doing horticulture, working with plants. Or that same person may be at their best as a personal assistant, running around for someone that is wealthy or rich. Or that same person may be the greatest artist of all times. Okay. So when this is happening, oh, thank you, Donita. I appreciate that. When this is happening, uh, and in order for you to become great, you are, let me put it this way, your heart's purpose is why you are here. Your heart's purpose is why you were generated. Your heart's purpose is why you are made here in flesh. You are here in some way to move the planet forward. Now, you could be the person that is the opposition of the people that are trying to move the planet forward, right? You could be one of the people that are moving the planet forward, or you could be what we call an NPC, which is a non-playable character. You're just a sheep, right? You're not on the side of light. You're not on the side of darkness. You're just going to go with the flow. Whatever they say on the news, you're going to do. Whatever the next pop star is doing, you're going to do. Whatever the newest trend is doing, you're going to do. So you're just going to go along to get along, right? You're just going to go along to get along. And that's what most people are. 85% of those people in the planet are the 85%, right? What the gods call the 85%, poison animal eaters, slaves for mental death and power, who are easily led in the wrong direction but hard to be led in the right. And again, when you're following your purpose, you have to have a clear direction on what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go. This season, Leo season, right? If you haven't started on the new moon, if you haven't started do the Lions Gate, right? And let's talk about the 8-8 Lions Gate. And I'm gonna get into a little bit. I'm gonna try to keep this hour and a half, right? But I do have some things I want to talk about, so bear with me. The Lions Gate, the 8-8 Lions Gate. I'm gonna tell y'all something, right? I mess with the Kabbalion. The Kabbalion is a set of spiritual laws, right? It's a book called the Kabbalion. It's a set of spiritual laws that were given by Tahuti. They call thought. They mispronunciate and stole the legacy of thought of Tahuti by calling him Hermes Trismegistus, right? So the Kabbalion. So one of the laws of the Kabbalion is as above, so below. Now I did a video about 8-8 Lionsgate last year, right? I did a video about 8-8 Lionsgate last year. But as I did more studying, more looking into it this year, more deeper research, I realized that the 8-8 Lionsgate, there's no, the law of correspondence as above, so below. There's really no above, right? There's nothing happening in the cosmos really that's not happening now. You know what I'm saying? Other than the numerology of the two number eights being double infinities. There's 6 plus 1, 8 plus 8 equals 16. 6 plus 1 is 7. That's 7 is the number of God, the number of completion, right? So as far as numerology or numerological significance, right? As far as the significance of the numerology for 8-8 Lionsgate, yeah, that's something. But really, the 8-8 Lionsgate is like Christmas, right? It's like Thanksgiving. It's a made-up holiday. But there's nothing wrong with that because it's a gate leading up to this particular full moon, right? It's going to be a gate that's going to be leading up to the full moon every year. And I'm glad that people are actually partaking in that gate. Peace. Rob Blackstone. He said, read some of the book. I got you, Straight Panther. I'm gonna do it. But the 8-8 Lionsgate is it happened. Obviously, people were doing their rituals, people were doing their magic. That's a good thing. Put that energy in the air. Because I feel like now that's one of our holidays. You know what I'm saying? Just like Christmas or Thanksgiving, that's something that the spiritual community made up for themselves that they're going to be doing every year around this time period. So not only are they going to be engaging in magic on 8-8 every year, but also it's going to be leading up to this particular full moon. Now, let's go into, because when we're talking about now, before I even get into it, when we're talking about Sirius, the Sirius star system, I don't know if you guys watch. Most people have watched Men in Black. It's on Netflix right now, right? Men in Black, they talk about looking for Orion's belt in the first Men in Black. Orion's belt is literally the highway or the pathway to Sirius. It's like the driveway. You can't get to the Sirius and then Sirius A, B, right, which are stars, but you can't get to that star system without first going through Orion's belt. Right? If you don't see Orion's belt, you're not going to be able to get into that Sirius star system. Now, Orion's belt has some significators here on Earth. There are things here on Earth to mark. Oh, excuse me, sweat a little bit. There are things here on Earth to mark where Orion's belt is, right? And one of those things are the Great Pyramids of Egypt, right? There's also this Orion's belt here in New York. There's also an Orion's belt here on Earth, right? So I'm going to show you the ley line. If you live on this ley line that I'm going to show you, then you win. All right, you're going to be winning every time this particular Stargate opens and every time this Stargate leading to this particular full moon is going to be open. And this particular Stargate or this particular full moon, it's really about being courageous. It's really about being courageous. It's really about stepping out of your comfort zone and becoming what you are here to do, right? But let's show you these ley lines real quick. Shout out to y'all that are coming in the building. All right, let me do this. All right. Actually, let me do the entire screen. All right. Wasn't I sure? All right. I guess I can't do the entire screen. All right, let's do this. What I want to show y'all is just the ley lines and where you can see these things, because there's a line here in New York and there's a line here. For some reason, it's not letting me share it, which is weird. Okay, here we go. All right, so let me show y'all. So when you look and you see this particular you see these particular pyramids. Now, this particular pyramid is here in South America. So when you're looking at Orion's belt, this is what you're looking at right here. This is Orion's belt. These are the three stars of Orion's belt. All right. And Orion's belt is, again, the highway to Sirius. Now, Sirius, what's going to happen is tomorrow, Sirius is going to rise up in the morning. First thing in the morning, you're going to see Sirius, right? And I said this in my last video, that Sirius was popping up in the morning, but it actually wasn't visible. But tomorrow morning, Sirius will be visible in the morning, and it's called the Halatial Rising. So it's going to be ascended, I believe, up until the 27th or the 22nd. So what that means is not only are we getting powered, we've already been getting powered by both luminaries, by the sun and by Sirius. So not only are we getting powered by the sun and Sirius, by the sun, but we're getting powered by Sirius. So we're getting powered by those two. So basically two suns, so to speak. And Orion's belt is lit. So those stars are lit, right? So these areas are lit. Okay. So this is in China. They have these three pyramids. Most people don't know that there's pyramids in China. There's pyramids all over the world, actually. But these pyramids in China, if you see, they have this particular line. This is in Mexico, okay? The Tulu, whatever, pyramids. This is in Egypt, all right? The Great Pyramids and Orion's Belt, all right? Now, when you look at, excuse me, now this is the ley line, basically, or what you call the meridians of the world. And you see Orion's belt, the same Orion's belt you see here, here, and here, and here, is also here on the planet Earth. Okay. So this right here, this particular dot, are these pyramids here in Mexico. Okay. Here in Mexico. These are the pyramids, obviously, in Egypt, in Kemet, the Great Pyramids. And these are the ones in China, the Xi'an pyramids. Okay. So as above, so below. So if you're anywhere along this line here in America, right, you can find this on the internet, blow this up. It'll be a good place for you to do your little rituals. You know what I'm saying? Bury something in the dirt, bury a little time capsule or something, put it next to a tree, something like that. So you could get and maximize or do your meditations in parks around these areas or waterways around these areas, so you can take advantage of this particular energy. And if you are a New Yorker like I am, right, here are your ley lines. And if you're a New Yorker, you definitely would want to try to visit one of these areas, in particular the Egyptian obelisk in Central Park. But as you see, these are the three stars of Orion, right? And you don't even know they exist and you don't know that they're here on this planet because this is not something they teach you, right? Because they don't want you to tap into this energy. They don't want you to tap into this energy. So this is St. Paul's Chapel, Word Square. This is you're never going to be able to go here because this actually is no, I'm sorry, St. Paul's Chapel. You can't go to this one because this is inside a cemetery, right? This one you could go to, but it's like in the middle of the road. This is in New York, and this one is Central Park. So everybody. So again, if you're along this line in New York City, again, you'll be able to take advantage of this energy, and you should be feeling this energy, or have been feeling this energy during this whole Leo season, literally from July 4th up until now. All right. So why am I showing you that? Am I showing you that to, oh, peace, Terry, peace, 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 peace. Yes, yes, King Low Fitness. That is the gate in New York. Not Ether, shout out to you. Straight Panther, shout out to you. Yeah, King Low, that is the gate in New York. So that's the Lion's Gate right there in New York. That's the Orion's Belt right there in New York. Or there's Orion's Belt right here on the planet where I showed you. All right, there's an Orion's Belt in these major three of the seven continents. So you don't have to go far. Okay, the energy is here. Now the reason this energy is important, Straight Panther said that's that's what's up. Yeah, Junkyard Jedi, peace. He said peace. Got the book off Amazon, big bro. Shout out to you. Yeah, caught my book. I don't have it here, but I'll before the nights, and so that's at the what you call it. But yeah, occult mastery. All right, hold on. Let's do this. Now, when we're talking about this particular gate, this is open. This is energy that is able to be harnessed. This is energy that's able to be utilized. And why we want to utilize this is Sekhmetian energy. Okay. When we're talking about a lion, there's two variations to Sekhmet. A lot of people like to talk about Sekhmet, and Sekhmet is big because Sekhmet is violent, right? And one thing's for sure, two things for certain. When you're talking about Negroes and you're talking about violence, we want to be the toughest people in the world. You know what I'm saying? We come from these harsh urban environments, these ghettos, right, where people are trying to take advantage of us, so forth and so on. And we want to be the toughest people in the world, right? So people love to deal with Sekhmet, especially people in the spiritual and the occult community. But they don't never talk about the other side of Sekhmet, really, which is Bast. And if you don't know who Bast is a cat deity or a cat god. And Bast, you're familiar with Bast because you've watched the movie Black Panther. Okay? And that is who they were working with. They were working with the energy of Black Panther. Black Panther, was working with the energy of Bast. So Black Panther and Wakanda, they worked with that particular deity. Okay? Even though it's a movie, I want you to understand that they were essentially working with Leo energy, believe it or not. Okay? They were working with Leo energy because Leo corresponds to Sekhmet, and Sekhmet, the other side of Sekhmet, is Bast, and Bast, the cat deity. So Sekhmet deals with healing as well as extreme violence. Okay, so Sekhmet's the type of person that'll kill you, right? Run through your whole family, right? But then want to make sure that whoever Sekhmet went to war with, the wounds attended to, they're eating the proper diet, taking the right amount of herbs, right? That's the type of energy that Sekhmet has. And it's an energy that you can invoke depending on what you need to do, right? The same thing with Bast. It's an energy that you can invoke depending on what you need to do, okay? Also, in this particular time, Jupiter is retrograde, Saturn is retrograde. So when we're talking about retrogrades, the easiest way to understand retrograde, I know everybody talks about Mercury retrograde. That's big in pop culture right now. That's the only retrograde people care about because, they say it's computers. Well, not they say it deals with computers and technology and communication going wrong and don't buy a house and things like that. But nobody talks about the other retrogrades. But these are probably two of the most important retrogrades that we're under. They both started in June, the Jupiter retrograde. And the Jupiter is a planet that deals with abundance, it deals with growth, it deals with innovation, right? And Jupiter is a planet, when it goes retrograde, what we're looking at is what have we been focusing on to expand? What have we been focusing on to help us grow? What have we been doing to help us become what we need to be? Peace to Eileen. What does it mean for Aquarius? We'll get there. But what do we need to grow? Right. That's what we're looking at. What are we looking at? What have we been focusing on to expand? Now, when you're dealing with solar energy, and right now the planet is in the midst of a solar storm. So when you're dealing with solar energy, again, you're dealing with the soul, the purpose of the soul, but you're also dealing with your ancestral uh, karma or your ancestral debt, cleaning up that ancestral debt when you're dealing with the soul or you're dealing with solar energy, right? Because it's really about the core of who you are. See, they say that we're a spiritual being having a human experience, right? But that's really not the case. We're actually a solar or a soul being. We're a soul being, right? Having a spiritual experience in a human body. But it's really the soul first, right? The spirit is just a vehicle for the soul, right? The best way to explain why the spirit is a vehicle for the soul is if you guys ever watch Thor, right? You know when Thor is about to go to Asgard, right? He's going to Middle Earth. What does he do? He raises his hammer, right? And there's always a little circle or sigil wherever he leaves, because that's literally the seal of the soul, right? You could also say, for the metaphor, that's a DNA imprint, right? But he's riding on a rainbow bridge. The rainbow bridge represents the spirit. Okay. The rainbow bridge also represents the chakras. Okay. So it represents the spirit and it represents the spirit going up the chakras. Okay. So this is what you call Kundalini. This is what you call Ra. This is what you call Chi, right? This is what you call positive energy. Okay. This is what you call raising your frequency. So elevating the soul is always first. Okay. Your soul is here. Okay. Your soul is what keeps you here grounded on earth. But your spirit now is your soul is more so, put it this way, your soul is more so fixed, right? It's your DNA, what you came here with your mom and dad, those your mom and dad's characteristics, looks, what makes up this physical body, right? The soul and your purpose, right? What's already encoded in your DNA. But your spirit could be anything. You have different spirits all the time. You have a spirit that you have at work. You have a spirit that you have when you're with your homeboys or your homegirls. You have a spirit that you have when you're going shopping. You have a spirit that you have when you're at the club. You have a spirit that you have when you're smoking and drinking. There's a different spirit that you have when you're sad and stressed, right? So there's all sorts of different spirits, right, that you are constantly taking on that rainbow bridge. And you are going to different points on that rainbow bridge depending on what type of energy you are producing. Now, where the soul comes in, or the solar energy, now we are talking about light. We're talking about light. Light is information. You're also talking about the light within self, the biophotons. But light is information ultimately. Without, if everything goes dark, you can't see me, right? You can hear me, but you can't see me. So there's a limited amount of information and a limited amount of understanding that you're going to get. But the reason you're not listening to the radio right now and the reasoning that you're watching YouTube, right, is because you're getting a visual and an audio experience. So you're essentially getting more information. There's more stimulation. Now, whatever you focus on, I always say this, whatever you focus on, not only does it expand, but there's an exchange of energy. Whatever you focus on, there's a charge. You're paying attention. You're paying attention. So when you're paying attention, there's a charge. There's a charge between you and whatever you're focused on. And anything you focus on expands. So Jupiter being retrograde is about that particular energy. Jupiter being retrograde is about what are you focusing on to expand? Where is your light going? What are you paying attention to? What are you giving life and light to? Okay. What type of people are you giving life and light to? What type of, on your social media, okay, what type of people are you following on your social media? What type of news stories are you taking in? What type of doom and gloom ideas are you constantly focusing on? Last week, I remember they were saying Nancy Pelosi was gonna they were saying Nancy Pelosi going to China, it was gonna start World War IV or World War III, right? Nothing happened. You got to be careful of these ideas. And you're introducing all these new diseases, all these new viruses are coming out of nowhere. You know why? Because it worked. It worked. It got the people, as how they say, it had the people going, right? It had the people going. The people who didn't, the 85%, they were like sheep. And now they have the monkey shot. And I saw in California where they was giving the monkey shot, people lined up, all right, ready to take it. Because people are going to always, unfortunately, the masses, I don't want to say people, but the masses are always going to be sheep. All right. That's just what it is. So those of you who are waiting for the masses to change, those of you who want to save everybody, those of you who want the world to become better, right? Those of you who are thinking of this utopia where everyone's going to be spiritual and everybody's going to be doing uh, healing chakras and doing Reiki and taking spirit baths and giving each other massages and not having gender wars. Those days not only did they never exist, but it's unrealistic for this planet because this planet is all about opposites. This planet is all about, it's a training school, right? And when you're going through training, which is what this planet is, it's a school, Bible, basic instructions before leaving Earth. This is a school. This is a school. And the school is designed to get you prepared for the next iteration of this thing called life. Okay, energy doesn't die, it simply just changes form. Okay, and we talk about the ancestors all the time and honoring the ancestors and pouring out some liquor for the ancestors. One of my homies dies, he putting candles on the block, right, or next to their picture, things like that. But we don't realize that we are an ancestor. You're an ancestor. You're a living ancestor. And when you pass from this plane, you're going to be an ancestor as well. Okay. So nothing dies. It simply just changes form. And the same way you're able to call upon your ancestors now by putting down things they like on an altar, right? Get your altar space, put something down that they like. If you know your ancestors smoke Newport, put some Newport on their altar or their shrine. You know your ancestors like cigar, put a cigar there. You know they like chocolate cake, put chocolate cake there, right? All these, and the reason you're doing these things is because you are an electromagnetic being. We're not just doing these things, and a lot of, this occult thing, this spiritual thing, this magic thing, people got it twisted, all right? People take Christian ideals and then bring the shit here in this way of life, right? And start worshiping things. No, this is an energy game, okay? This is an energy game. This world, this universe that we live in is based on primarily light and sound, okay? Word and image. If you think of your thoughts, okay, that's what your thoughts are. Your thoughts are words, which are sounds, and an image. Okay, words spoken aloud are sounds. You could, and if you see the words just in your head, they're images. So sound and images. So when we're talking about working with a particular deity or a particular energy, right? We are basically doing the focusing, right? We're focusing light. So my let's say I'm gonna think of one of my ancestors, right? Actually, I'm gonna think of my homeboy. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Kenyatta, right? So Kenyatta, I've talked to Kenyatta in meditation plenty of times. You know what I'm saying? In the past. You know what I'm saying? Talked to him plenty of times. And sometimes I'm gonna say this. This is not necessarily my boy Kenyatta, but there's sometimes ancestors that you might communicate with or your homies that died, and you have to really be aware. Right. Another part of this path is being in the moment and being aware so that you can see signs and symbols and see and see things like numbers and sacred geometry and understand, okay, if I see a lion, what does that mean in my day-to-day life? Am I not being courageous? Am I not following my soul's purpose? Am I not being playful and joyful with my children, right? All the characteristics that you would see in a lion, okay? But let's talk about my homie Kenyatta, right? Now, my homie Kenyatta, he was a kung fu master, right? So when I was communicating with him on with his shrine, right? And there's a difference between a shrine and an altar. A shrine is a shrine is just that. It's a place where you go and you give offerings and you communicate with a specific ancestor. Okay. So you might have a shrine for your auntie or a shrine for your uncle, right? This is just for them. Okay. You don't do what we call work on that shrine. That shrine is just to honor that ancestor. Now you have an ancestor altar, and I talk about this in my book, Occult Magic Mastery, which is on Amazon now. Occult Magic Mastery, it's on Amazon. But I talk about this, and you have an altar, right, where you can do work, where you put your candles and you put your herbs in your candles, and you might have a particular statue, right? Of Heru or Oshun or whatever it is, and you're working with that particular energy. That's what your altar's for. Your shrine, you might have a shrine from your pops, a shrine from your aunt. Man, like for example, because I'm adopted, right? So you're adopted, you don't really need a shrine, you just want a general altar, man, right? So you could just have an overall contact of your ancestors. So for you, more well, not more than likely, but for you it will probably be best to work with like orishas and things like that, right? And then they will help assist you into that particular energy source, will help you change your electromagnetic field. And then what's going to happen is you go into different spaces in life and things will just happen, right? Little breadcrumbs will lead you to even discovering your parents, right? Don't think that that's out of the realm of possibility. Don't think that that's out of the realm of possibility. This is how the spiritual, magical, being in tune with nature things work. Because when you are doing this work, so I'm getting off track. When you're doing this work, the whole reason for the light and the sound is to focus energy. And I'm really trying to break this down and make it explainable, right? But it's to focus energy. It's to get energy, produce energy, source energy, harness energy. Okay. And there's, as I said, what you call spirits are just different frequencies, different variations of energy, different frequencies, different variations of the electromagnetic field or the electromagnetic spectrum. And even beyond what we could see in the electromagnetic spectrum, past the X rays that we could see in the electromagnetic spectrum, there's things that are in the unseen. Okay. that we are actually calling into the light, into our focus when we are lighting our candles, right? When we have up the pictures of our ancestors. Now, you could use an ancestor altar and have your ancestors on that altar and do work, you know what I'm saying? And still do spiritual work, still put candles on there, you know what I'm saying? Still put petitions on there. Um, still have your four elements, your fire, your air, your water, right? Your air being the incense, water, obviously being water, fire being a candle, and earth being some sort of crystal or stone or something like that, right? You want to have those four elements on your ancestral altar. And pretty much you could do candle magic on that altar and make a lot of things happen. Okay. But I digress. I feel like I'm getting off topic. I feel like I'm getting off topic. So when we're talking about this particular energy, right? We're talking about essentially Christ type energy. And this Leo energy or this Christ type energy, especially with it being in Aquarius, is Aquarius is about the collective. All right. We're in the age of Aquarius currently. Okay. Or some people say we're in the age, some people say we're coming into the age. Regardless, we all know shit is new. We all know since 2020, we're in a whole new world. Shit is totally different. Shit is not the same. Right? The energy, if you've been out recently, the air is different. The air is thicker. There's more energy in the air. When you breathe, even though it's hot, it's stuffy, there's just more energy in the air. That energy you could harness and utilize to conquer. Let's say you have a fear, right? You're a man, you have a fear of approaching women. Take this energy this weekend, step to that girl that you've been wanting to step to. Shoot that DM. Same thing for a woman. Okay, that guy you've been looking at and you've been eyeing or whatever, shoot that DM. Okay. Even if it doesn't work, this type of energy is saying, this energy of this particular time, here and now, is saying if you make the attempt to break out of your comfort zone, if you make the attempt to break your fear, let's say you're shy, right? This month you want to go, if you're shy, this month is the month that you want to go on Facebook or Instagram live and talk about something, whatever it is that you love. You might just talk about your day, right? Just to get it out. I don't care if you have no viewers, one viewer, just to get it out. Just to get it out. This energy is about destroying, using the lion heart to destroy fear. If you notice, let's look at even a Black Panther, right? I told you, Sekhmet energy boss. That the Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer dropped on the first day of Leo season, I believe. Either the first or the second day of Leo season, the Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer dropped. And if you notice, in the Black Panther Wakanda Forever, they're introducing a new character called Ironheart, right? Or Ironheart, right? Or you could say Lionheart, right? Or the heart of a lion, or the heart of iron, right? And there's some Shango. You could throw Shango in there with the iron, right? We ain't gonna go too deep, but it's very interesting that being that Black Panther, right? It's the same cat energy, the cat motif, and they dropped it in Leo season. The Aquarius part is once you break your fears, once you break through your limitations, once you become fearless, like the conquering lion of Judah that you are. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of vulnerability. There's things that I've been doing this month to step out of my fears and the things that I have been nervous about. And every one that I've made, now they haven't all been successful. It's not a lot, but the few, right? They haven't, a couple, they haven't been successful. Some have been successful, some haven't, right? But each one, whether they're successful or not, I feel right, much more confident. I feel much more bold. I feel like I could do anything. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I could overcome anything. and the limits that I was avoiding, right? Because I was in my comfort zone, and the things that I were avoiding, now that I've made steps to get past it or move past it, not only do I see how small and how like stupid it was to even be nervous about these certain things, but I also have my energy has raised, my kundalini has raised, so to speak, my vibration has raised, so to speak, right? My ideation has raised, so to speak, because when you conquer, right, your demons, you gain spiritual power. When you overcome your problems, you gain spiritual powers. So my psychic abilities are online, I'll say that, right, without getting too deep on this public service. But my and hopefully yours are too, right? You guys should be having more synchronicities, right? And with synchronicities, we're talking about basically you you seeing coincidences. There's no such thing as coincidences, only confirmations. Okay. So some of the things you could do during this time is you want to get you some tiger's eye. If you have where your tiger's eye, we're in a super moon, so this whole weekend is going to be popping. So you could do these things anytime during this weekend. All right. If you want to do some sort of rituals, I myself have a candle. As soon as I get off this, I'm gonna light this particular candle I have prepared, right? And what I have in this, I have a green candle because green is the color of the heart chakra. So we're focusing on breaking through our fears and goals. And another thing, what we're dealing with this lion energy, let me share this before I even get into that, is we're dealing with I have so much things to talk about. I ain't talking about no. But we're talking about that's not what I want to show you. Here we go. So we're talking about the Sphinx. All right. And the Sphinx, this is basically a sign of emotional intelligence. Whatever you have been triggered by, whatever you are triggered by, you want to really look at this month and ask yourself, do those triggers really matter? Are those triggers really important? The things that you think about doing but you don't do because you have that little pain in your gut, you have those little butterflies in your gut you're nervous about. Is it really that serious? Is it really that deep? Right? Or do you just have to put your human head on and control that beast within? Control that animal spirit that's telling you can't do it. Control that animal spirit that tells you won't be able to do it. Control that animal spirit that is limiting you. They have also, there is something, and we all know, well, not all of us, but they have in Platonic philosophy or Gnosticism, there is something called the demiurge. And the demiurge looks something like this. Okay. This is what the demiurge looks like, but the demiurge is a lion headed deity, right? Well, this is a symbol, not a real thing. And the symbol, what this represents is the snake represents the spinal cord. The snake represents energy, right? Chi, Kundalini, Ra, whatever you want to call it, rising up the spine. And this represents you basically being taken over by the animal within you. The demiurge, all the demiurge really is a representation or a metaphor for you being out of control, you not being able to control yourself, you not being able to control your urges, you not being able to control your fears. When your fears take over, this is what it looks like. The animal one. You say, oh, I'm going to go work out today. Or, oh, I'm going to start eating better today. Or, oh, I'm going to stop smoking today. Or, oh, I'm going to start doing this today. Right? And then you do it. This is what it looks like. Then you go eat that cake, or you go and don't work out, or you go and smoke that cigarette. Right? This is what it looks like. This is what the ancients or the Gnostics put it in visual form. And this is called the demiurge. It's literally an urge within you that you have not controlled. So you want to get to the point when you're talking about a lion's gate, before we get to these three pyramids, in Giza, the lion's gate, now that we're talking about Sirius, the lion's gate is the Sphinx. And the Sphinx's head is really a woman. Because the symbolism of the Sphinx is about you managing your emotions or your energy in motion. And the waves of your emotions, right? You know, you've heard the term waves of emotion. That's a symbol of water. Water is also a symbol of femininity. Okay. Flow states, spirit, okay. Spirit in motion, femininity. Okay. The feminine aspect of spirit that is subtle. There's a fiery aspect of spirit that is very masculine, but there's a subtle aspect of spirit that is very feminine. It's not just when we're dealing with esoteric culture, you're dealing with synchronicity, things that sync together. You're not dealing with things that are segregated. You're dealing with things that are one in a sense. Okay, you're looking at not just each individual tree, but you're looking at the forest. So the Sphinx is a representation of Leo season, of the Lion's Gate, of Leo season, and even this particular super full moon. So you really want to analyze what your triggers are. Look at the things that have been triggering you. See if they matter, okay? Because your triggers are what control you essentially. If you're triggered by Trump, if you're triggered by, even sad to say, even if you're triggered by, a police shooting, okay, even if you're triggered by, sexual deviancy of a minor, things like that, okay, all these things that are not happening to you directly, and that you are, um, see, it's like this, right? Being an empath is not as cool as people think it is. Having empathic abilities is not as cool as you may think. For instance, I was in a couple weeks ago. I went out or whatever. Was at a concert, and I'm at the concert or whatever. And I'm tall. I'm 6'3", I'm like 240 or whatever. My back is big, right? People, so people behind me. If you're behind me, you can't really see, right? And every time I go to a concert, man, I'm always aware that the people can't see behind me. So sometimes I try to accommodate myself to make sure they can see, but that doesn't work all the time because sometimes you just ain't gonna see. You sure? That's not my fault. But being an empath, I want everybody to see. You get what I'm saying? Being an empath, I don't want to block anybody from seeing, even though I'm tall, my height, whatever. I can't control it, but I want everybody to see. That's being an empath. Okay. Now, a lot of people are empaths when it comes to things that happen in the world. You know what I'm saying? Events. You have to know what to put your empathy in and what not to put your empathy in. What to give empathy to and what not to give empathy to. And that takes time. I know for me, it took time. But when you're doing this spiritual work, When you have a spiritual practice, and a spiritual practice is not something that you do strictly on Sunday, like when you went to church, right? You prayed on Sunday, you went to church for an hour, you sang, Holy Ghost, hooped and hollered, got the word, and that was it. But words don't change things. I don't care how many books you read. I don't care how smart you sound. I don't care how much you can regurgitate. Words don't change things. Experiences do. I'm not the best speaker here, right? I'm not the best speaker here on YouTube, but my experiences are dope. All right, my spiritual experiences are dope. The way the universe shows out for me, dope. The way my ancestors show out for me, amazing. All right, amazing. And as I've grown spiritually, the things around me have grown as well for the better. This does not mean that you're always going to have good days when you're on the spiritual path. Okay. When you choose to leave the church, when you choose to leave traditional religion, don't think that you're coming here and everything's going to be all good. No. The same way this lion, right? The same way this lion, it ain't all good for him. And he's the king of the jungle. There's people trying to take that lion and their pride down. You know what I'm saying? So I titled this video Pride or Die because you want to, during this weekend, you want to ask yourself, what do you put in pride in? What is the pride of you? Who are you? You have to ask yourself that question. Who really are you? Like, who are you? To the people, if someone was to ask about you, not the bullshit that you tell people, oh, I'm amazing, I'm phenomenal, I'm great, I don't know why people don't like me, blah, blah, blah. No. Be real with yourself. Take time tonight, actually, if you can, go into meditation and ask yourself, who are you? Who are you? What are you? Why are you? Actually, let me do this. So I want to show you this. Ask yourself, who are you? And once you do that, now you'll be able to get a better understanding of what the next step is when you're real with yourself. Oh, this didn't. Sorry about that, guys. When you're real with yourself, give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. Sorry. Screen went out for a second. And you guys see what's been happening, right? Even look at Doja Cat, right? Her name is Cat. Her last name Doja Cat. You see she cut off all her hair, right? Cut off all her eyelids, right? You can't be, and hair is literally antennas, right? Your hair has nerve endings. So cutting off all her hair on her head, cutting off her eyelid hair, that was a symbol, okay? So when I saw her do that, I said, oh, her last name is Cat. I was like, okay. All right. So basically the universe is saying, now that could be also a humiliation ritual for, the quote unquote Illuminati or whatever the case is, but that doesn't help me. What helps me is seeing her hair get cut off and her cutting off her hair and them saying, okay, false kings are going to be knocked off. Fake lions are going to meet their just due. Fake lions you're going to be seeing going down. Then shortly right after that, Trump got raided. Okay. And you're going to see more of that as this month. And even going into Virgo season, you're going to see more of this exposure of people that are supposed to be kings or supposed to be in the forefront of anything, or these influences going down or being exposed, aka getting their head cut off or their hair cut off, right? Which is the Doja Cat thing. Again, signs and symbols. That's what this is for. For you, when you're doing the spiritual work, you have to meditate, because when you meditate, the more you meditate, you are able to go into a place called the void. When you are able to go into the place called the void, that's what they call silence. Okay, once you go into that place of silence, you understand why God whatever you want to call God, why God created you, the universe, the stars, the dogs, the cats, so that it could have experiences in multiple forms, because it's very boring in that void. But in that void, now you could create different things. The great thing about meditation is if you're scared of rats, when you go into meditation, you could cut the head off as many rats as possible. You could face that fear of rats. If you have a fear of public speaking, guess what? You could speak in front of Yankee Stadium worth full of people. You'll feel those same nerves in meditation, but the more you do it, the more those nerves will go away. And then you do it in real life, boom. Now, what you've done in the meditative world, you're able to take it to real life. Now you've leveled up. That's less fear. Now you see a rat, you're not shrieking and going crazy. That's less fear. Heights. People have fears of heights. Okay. Again, you're trying to, this is about raising, we talk about raising vibration and raising frequency. You think these little fears don't affect you, right? You think these fears are not lowering your vibration, your frequency, and your access to knowledge, but it really is. Because every time you're scared, every time you're worried, every time you're stressed, every time you're nervous, you're lowering your IQ. Your IQ could drop up to 80 points when you're stressed, fearful, angry, or nervous. The blood rushes from your brain to your body. Cortisol, which is a poison, flows through your bloodstream, and you go into fight or flight. You literally become an animal, a dumbass animal, right? You get into your animal mode. You become this. You become not that. You become this. You become a demiurge. This is what you become when you give into your fear. Now, I know your teachers have taught you that this is something outside of you, and this is some outside force that comes down. They control the world, and they're gonna get you. All right, and they're running things, but that takes away from you being what you know you are, and that is a God. Okay, that is a God. Generator, operator, destroyer. Shout out to C. Freeman L. Gumar Oz-Dubar, wisdom, strength, and beauty. Shout out to the Greeks and the Freemasons. Okay, so you're not gonna be. You have to be an avenger. You have to be an avenger out here. And what do I mean by being an avenger? Meaning you have to tap into whatever your unique powers are so you could bring them to your community. You could bring them to your ciphers. You could bring them to your think tank. But you have to tap into whatever your strengths are. Okay? You doing magic simply to acquire material things is not only silly, right? Because literally you could get that material thing and then a plane hits your whole motherfucking house and everything is gone, right? Or an asteroid drops out the sky, hits the motherfucking house and everything is gone, right? Instead of doing spiritual work, instead of praying, instead of lighting candles, right? And if you want to do spell work, I always tell you guys, I'm never just going to give you direct, do this or do that. You can go on Pinterest. Like Pinterest has love spell, money spell, this spell, that, any spell you need, you can go on Pinterest and get, right? And you just try them out, see what works for you, bitty bop, bitty boop. My goal on this channel is to get you to become the magic, okay? Even though I'm wearing crystals and all that shit, right? At the end of the day, if I don't have none of these crystals, I know that I am the crystal. I know that I am the stone. I am the amethyst. I am the red jasper. I am the carnelian. I am the motherfucking citrine. I am the obsidian. Okay? All these things that I have on, I am that. I am stardust. All these things are within me at the end of the day. So all these things, all they're doing is strengthening the aura that I already have. And it's really so that in case I don't have these items on me, I don't want to be dependent on my spiritual tools, right? But I wear them and I have them at certain times. When I go out, I always have on some gems, especially my Solomon seals. I always have my Solomon seals on, always. And we'll get to Solomon seals someday. I got to start telling y'all about this stuff that I didn't really want to reveal because Spirit's telling me that this is the year to do so. So we're going to get a little deeper than I used to talk with certain things, but we'll talk about Solomon seals another day. But spiritually speaking, I wear these tools when I go out, when I'm in certain circumstances and certain things, but I don't depend on them, right? I don't when you're on this walk, when you first start, you end up acquiring a lot of things, right? So you get a billion books, a billion crystals, go attend a billion lectures, billion classes. You're trying to figure it out, right? And then it comes to a point where you realize and spirit starts to give you things that are unique for you. When you get spells from people on these channels, you have to realize that whatever ritual they told you to do, that was the ritual for them. Even if I give you a ritual and I tell you to do something, which I will, I'll give you some stuff to put your candles in today, tomorrow, Saturday, whatever. But that's for me. That's for me. It works. It works for me. It may work for you, but it may not work for you. Okay? You have to do this study yourself. And it takes time. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to be a lion overnight. You know what I'm saying? It takes time for a cub to grow into a lion. And there's some of these cubs out here who think that they're already lions. And that's the problem. A lot of your greatest teachers have put in 10 years or more that are coming on this YouTube channel. The real great ones, the good ones, they in their 50s. You know what I'm saying? The real great ones, they older. They in their 50s, 60s, some of them. You know what I'm saying? Not to say the youngins, they ain't got it, because with the internet, you guys could get information much faster than we could. You know what I'm saying? Those of us that are of a certain age. But that doesn't mean that the information that y'all are dropping are right either. It doesn't mean the information that y'all are dropping are really going to help you get to where you want to in this magical game. The whole goal of spirituality is to be at peace. The money you want is for you to be at peace. The girlfriend, the boyfriend, the love of your life is so that you could be at peace. Okay, the house, the car, all that is so you could be at peace. So you developing your spiritual self. And if you don't know what this is, then you don't really know your spiritual body. This is the Kabbalah. Okay? If you don't know what this is, you don't really know your spiritual body. If you don't have a good handle of this, you don't have really a good handle of the different aspects of your spirit, because your spirit goes up a chain. And again, I'm not going to go into that because we'll be here forever. I'm already at an hour and I don't want to go past an hour and a half. Yeah, Straight Panther, right. As he says, yep, if you use somebody else's ritual, always replace things in it with your own items, affirmations, path working. Definitely. 1 billion %. Yes. Don't just take somebody's ritual. When I and there's, look, I watch YouTube just like y'all. I listen to certain speakers. I listen to Panic and a couple other people, right? I listen to these people. They make sense. But I listen to me. You know what I'm saying? I'll take what they say. And another thing, if it sounds too good to be true, look it up. Look it up. If somebody says, yeah, do this, do that. Like I heard one speaker, I ain't gonna say his name, but he was talking about a particular, he was saying, yeah, there's trions, a trion chemical in the brain. I go look this shit up. The shit doesn't exist. But he says it with such passion and with such fervor, and he sounds like the church speaker, the church pastor, that you believe it. You want to be aligned in this thing, right? You have to go and do you. This is not for followers. This path is not for followers. This path is for leaders. This path is for independent thinkers. This path is for workers who are going to do the spiritual work. This path is not about, I'm smarter than you. In fact, as much as I know and as smart as I know I am, I don't want to be the smartest person in my rooms or in my areas or with the people I'm around. I would ask you to do this as well, is to challenge yourself. I've said this before, challenge yourself. Put your lion heart to the test. Put your courage to the test. Go on Facebook and go into the atheist rooms and talk that shit you be talking. And they're going to light your ass up. And guess what? You're going to be a better researcher. You're going to be more on point with what you're talking about. You ain't just going to be talking about, yeah, melanin is carbon. A lot of y'all say that. Melanin is carbon. Melanin is not carbon. Carbon and melanin are two different things. They're both dark, yes. Carbon does have 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons. But this not melanin. Melanin has a whole other chemical compound that is not 6 protons, not 6 neutrons, not 6 electrons. That's just one common thing that people regurgitate without researching. Okay? Melanin is a different compound than regular melanin. And it's not 6 protons, not 6 neutrons, and not 6 electrons. But you don't know that because you hear a fancy speaker telling you, oh, this is this and that, and it sounds good, and you got your church mind. So you take your church mind, and you just like he gave you the scriptures that you didn't get on y'all a little bit. Just like he gave you the scriptures that your ass ain't read, you come now in this community with your goddamn kufis and your onks and your and your goddamn fancy clothes, right? You ain't camouflaging. Everybody knows you're a magician. So if literally the government says, yo, we're going to do like we did back, tell y'all some real shit. We're going to do like we did back in the day, and we're going to start witch hunting again, just like Salem. And everybody that's a witch or a magician, we're going to start hauling their ass in. Me personally, I remember coming up into consciousness, right? I'm getting off track a little bit. But I remember coming into consciousness, and I'd be like, yo, in the late 90s, early 2Gs, and I'd be like, damn, why these motherfuckers dressed like this? I thought we was at war. I always thought that. I'm like, yo, I thought we was at war. Why is everybody wearing dashikis and these colorful-ass clothes and nose rings and big-ass earrings and shit? You want the government to know that you're against them? You want the government to know that you're against their religion? See, a lot of things we talk about on the social media, we shouldn't be talking about. And this is why I titled this Pride or Die. We have to get back to the point to where we are focusing on our families. We are focusing on our friends. And we're not trying to save our friends or whatever. If anything, you're trying to save your family. But even them, you can't save. You can't save anybody but yourself, by the way. You can't save anybody but yourself. But your focus it should be on your family, should be on your tribe, the people that are in your direct circumference, right? And your relationships with them. Don't try to save the world. There's niggas they out here on Instagram and YouTube and every place else trying to save the world, but their kids don't talk to them and they don't talk to their children. What type of line is that? What type of leader is that? What type of Aquarian in the Aquarian age, when Aquarius, since we're talking about the moon for the collective, what type of energy is that? Your kids don't want to mess with you. Your family doesn't mess with you. You have no friends. You have no associates. Oh, I don't like people. Nah, that's not what this is about. If anything, we're not, those of us that are following the path, or if you're learning the path, this is not supposed to just be an echo chamber where you're only dealing with people who light candles and wear ankhs and motherfucking, you know what I'm saying, pour water on trees and shit and libations. This is not just this. If anything, once you get this knowledge and once you are proficient in it, it's more about you being in these streets, you helping the people in the hood, you helping, and not just people in the hood, but people that don't understand this or not living this way or don't understand this way of life, so forth and so on. And the way you do that is not by talking to them. It's by living your life a certain way. You know what I'm saying? When you're in your conversations, don't hide who you are. You're not trying to change anybody, though. You're just being who you are. And they will come to you. You don't have to say that. That's Christianity missionary work. That's not, lions ain't trying to save nobody. Lions are taking care of their pride. And the reason I'm focusing more on the Leo aspect than the full moon and Aquarius aspect, because tomorrow, this shit's going into Pisces tomorrow. Okay, so you're going to go from Aquarius for the collective, then you go into Pisces tomorrow, which is the dreamy state. Okay, that's what Pisces, dreams, spirituality, etc., etc. It's going to be in Pisces Saturday, tomorrow and Saturday. Okay, so you want, and then it's going to go into Aries on Sunday, which is, so this is like, it's just a real powerful weekend, being that it's a super moon, to break through the things that we are scared of. And a lot of times we're scared of ourselves. We're scared of building with each other. We're scared of communicating with each other. We're not even building with each other the way we need to. We would more so argue and debate with each other. You know, I'm thinking about this, I'm looking at this Wakanda Forever thing, Black Panther coming out, and I'm nervous. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I'm nervous is because I'm like, damn, is this going to start a war between melanated people and the Aztecs or the Mexicans, right? Or the Puerto Rican people with black? Is going to start a Black and Latino war. Because I'm looking back at the last Black Panther, right? And although it was great technology and all that, and Black Panther, it was the men fighting the women. Right? Look at the end of Black Panther, before the end of Black Panther. It was the men fighting the women, literally. Go watch it again. And what do you see now? What do you see now? Men are fighting the women. This month, if you guys know, those of you who follow me on social media know I've barely been on social media, because I'm seeing that all the time. Even now on Instagram, logging on Instagram, women of this, women of that. That's what the algorithm is pushing. I go on Facebook, women of this, women of that. The first 3 stories, and I don't even follow shit like that, really, but the algorithm is throwing this shit to me. So I'm like, fuck you, algorithm. I'll just stay off. And then there's other ways to get dopamine than me dropping some science or some knowledge and getting likes. So how else do I get my dopamine? Because please believe, when you're on these social media sites, unless you're getting money for what you're doing and you're posting a picture or whatever, it's false pride. It's false love. It's false likes. You know what I'm saying? It's all fake. Now, not to say the person that hits the like or they don't like the picture or whatever like that, but it's not real love, right? So somebody likes the way you look on the outside, that's not real love. It's not real love, right? It's not real care just because somebody likes the way you look. You know what I'm saying? Meet a woman, oh, you tall, blah, 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 you smart. Well, not smart. You tall, you dark skin, blah, 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 you know. Got some paper, you know. But then when I start talking about this metaphysics, this occultism, right? Shit changes, okay? Shit changes. Not with everybody. Some people are interested, and the people that are interested, that's the pride. That's my tribe. Just like a lion has a pride, you have a pride, okay? You choose who's going to be in your pride, okay? You choose who's going to be in your family. You choose who's going to be around you. But they got to accept you for you. There's a lot of people, I do readings, there's a lot of people, right, men and women, who don't talk about that they're into metaphysics. They don't talk about they're into spirituality. They don't talk about they're into occultism because they don't want to offend the person that they're dating. Or they don't want to offend, they feel like the person that they meet is not going to understand. No. Here's what you do. The minute you start talking to this person, you think they're cute, you think they're attractive. She got a big booty, big titties. He got a nice body, nice print, right? Whatever y'all women like. Now, what you do is you go as a lion, right? As a person that's courageous, as a person that's standing on a square, right? As an avenger, standing in your power, your unique power, whatever that is. And you let them know, well, what are you into? What do you like? You let them know, well, I read this, I study this, boom, boom. So now when you start the relationship, it ain't bullshit. You ain't got to hide who you are. And then 6, 7 months down the line, we ain't got to see your goddamn Facebook post talk about what's that meme that everybody shares when they that meme that they be sharing when there's always a meme. There's like one meme where it's like if they're not with you, if they weren't with you when you're at the bottom, they won't be with you at the top or some shit like that, right? But are these people on your corner? Are they in your corner? Do these people really like you? Even if you're having sex nowadays, like having sex nowadays with the wrong person, that shit could lower your vibration for days. As an empath, I could tell you that that's a fact. Nowadays, you got to really, really careful who you're sleeping with, especially you fellas. I know we all want to bust a nut. Look, I understand, right? We all want to bust a nut. I get it. You wake up in the morning, that thing hard. I get it. But there's so many spiritual, metaphysical, hoodooing, voodooing, you know what I'm saying? All type of women out here now that are on a certain path that you don't need to be messing with the ratchets. You know what I'm saying? In fact, the less men that mess with the ratchets, the less ratchets there will be. The less examples of ratchets there will be. Women are doing this and acting this way and looking this way. You see the crazy eyelashes, you see the crazy surgeries, right? The BBLs out of control. All that is false pride. Okay, all that is dealing with, again, we're dealing with the lion's family's pride. All that is false pride. All that is false pride. You're external, okay? You're external. They have this thing now where they're talking about men, 6'6", 6 inches, 6 figures, 6 feet, right? But none of that has anything to do with his character. Is he good with children? Is he good with money? Right? Is he abusive? Right? And vice versa on the other hand. You know, she got a big titty. She's got fat ass, right? She's a 10, so to speak, on the Kevin Samuels scale, right? She's a 9-10 on the Kevin Samuels scale. But is she going to help you with your children? Is she going to be able to give you any wisdom, things that you can't see, right? Is she going to help you when you come home, when you have a hard day, rub your back and say, baby, it'll be okay? Is she good with administrating things, managing things, right? These are the things that you really want to look for in a partner, even if you are, and again, of course, if you're just sleeping with somebody, right, you're not going to get that deep into what they're doing, but at least you want to know that they are good people. You at least want to know that they have a foundation of decency. I mean, people be sleeping with somebody and then fall asleep, and then the girl robs them right after, or vice versa. You sleep with somebody, you fall asleep, next thing you know, the girl looks in her purse and her money's gone. So these things happen on a day-to-day basis because you don't know these people and you're just looking at people on a surface level. You want to get to the point where even if you break up with these people, and let's say you don't like them, right? Or you, whatever, something happens, at least that person could say, or you could say, well, it didn't work out, but we had a good time. Things were decent. Or we had this time, things were decent. When we talk about the collective, this is what we're talking about. When we're talking about being an empath, this is what we're really talking about. We're talking about connecting with people from a heart space, not from a surface space, from a heart space, from the soul space. Because America is falling. China, I don't know, guys, know if you guys have been seeing the economic situation in China with these mortgages and people not paying their mortgages and the banks not giving the people in China their money. The Chinese banks, same way they got FDIC here, they have their version in China, but their version went bankrupt. Same thing can happen here. Okay, so if they're having economic problems, America's having economic problems, two of the biggest powers in the world. And I showed you my last video, the last live I did, the economic problems all over the world. So America is falling. America is falling. We need people in all aspects of not only stuff talking on the internet and telling people about candles and rituals and things like that, but we need spiritual people who have altars and candles and crystals in the police force. We need spiritual people who have candles and altars in Congress. We need spiritual people who have candles and altars and work with deities in the school system. We need spiritual people who work with candles. You get what I'm going? In the fire department. The same way the Klan and white supremacists infiltrated all parts of government, and you don't know if they're white supremacists. They're not wearing a fucking what do they call that shit? Them shits that they wear. They're not wearing hoods, right? And white garments. You don't know that they're white supremacists. They're just taking these jobs, and they're white supremacists, and they fucking your life up. But the spiritual people don't want to do the jobs. They don't want to be cops. I don't want to be a cop. Well, if you ain't gonna be a cop, they gonna be a cop, and they're gonna keep fucking you up. No, I can't change the system. What kind of cowardly lion are you? The full moon's in Aquarius, but are you able to step into the school system and make an impact to where they could change and have programs that are suitable for your children? Are you able to run for city council in your city? Are you able to run for the ombudsman in your city? All these things are needed. I know your spiritual teachers say, oh, that's the things of the world and don't worry about it and it's all the matrix. But these things govern your life. You niggas damn sure pay. All these niggas is telling you that pay taxes. All these niggas that's telling you that have somebody that comes pick up their garbage. All these people telling you that have somebody that works on the roads. Yeah, we need spiritual people in motherfucking Congress, in the Senate, occultists in Congress, in the Senate, working juju. In the manufacturing, in the corporate offices, as vice presidents and presidents and CEOs of these companies with the intention of passing them on to their children or your children and taking them over. And no one knows. It's all hidden. It's all covert. You talk about ADOS and FBA and all that bullshit, right? I know this may offend somebody by me saying all that bullshit, but you're not the fucking descendant of a slave. You're a god, my nigga. So you can't be ADOS. That's first and foremost. Foundational Black American, where black is a color. It's a crayon color. Okay? And if you're a foundational Black, and you're saying you're the foundational Black American because you built the country, listen to this. You're saying people say they're foundational Black Americans because they built the country, right? And again, I'm doing this even though this is a cult channel and spiritual channel, metaphysics channel. I'm doing this because I'm showing you how the lions in our especially in the melanated community, the lions are being led into becoming lambs and they're becoming sheep and they don't really realize it. Okay. And you're being led astray, misguided. Okay. You think you're FBA, Foundational Black American, because your master teacher is entertaining, they like to roast people, and they have a great command of history. Now you're saying you're foundational because you built the country. I built these country. My ancestors built this country. So look at it this way. If I go outside, right, and I go in front of my lawn, and I take out my lawnmower, right? I take my lawnmower out and I go on my lawnmower and I'm cutting the grass. I'm cutting the grass, right? With my lawnmower. I take the lawnmower when I'm done, put it in the shed, and walk in the house. And let's say I got a wife, right? I walk in the house, right? Walk in the house, slap my wife on the ass, squeeze her ass, give her a kiss on the cheek, go in the shower to clean myself. She's on the phone with her girlfriend. She's not going to say the motherfucking, she's not going to say the lawnmower cut the grass. When Cheryl asks her, hey, what was Rod doing? What was Rod doing? He just came in the house? Yeah, girl. The lawnmower cut the grass. No. She's going to say, I cut the grass. Even though the lawnmower cut the grass. That's the same thing with melanated people in America saying, we built this country. No, white people directed your ass, used you as a lawnmower to build the country. I know this is heartbreaking. I know this is destroying some of your reality and some of your fantasy. But let's keep it real, because that's the only way we can move forward. And the reason that melanated people, one of the reasons melanated people are not moving forward today is because they think somebody owes them something. They think somebody owes them. Nobody owes you nothing. And you could say, okay, for argument's sake, you could say that you are owed reparations. All right? Reparations are due. I'm not going to say reparations aren't due. Okay? But to say that you are owed something, you are dependent on somebody to give you something. And you're not supposed to be waiting on anybody. Again, if I go out and I cut my grass with the lawnmower, right? The lawnmower is what built the foundation of my yard. Why my yard looks pretty is because of the lawnmower. Yes. But they're not going to say it's because of the lawnmower. It's me driving that motherfucking lawnmower around. So the white man, yes. The Caucasian man, yes. Built this country using you as labor. Built this country using you as a lawnmower. But you did not build the country. Your hands may have built it, but not this. Now, you built many other societies, okay? From Kemet on to North Africa, to Southern Africa, to Western Africa, to Eastern Africa, and beyond, even here in the Americas, right? The so-called Native American who's been here, who built the first Iroquois Confederation, which is where the original Declaration of Independence came from. Okay? The 13 colonies is based on the 13 colonies of the Iroquois, Iroquois Indians that were here in America. A little bit of history. I know some history. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, you built. But were you the director? No. Were you the lion running this? Were you the top dog running it? No. So it's time for us to build. It's time for the youth to build. All right. It's time for think tanks, things I'm always talking about think tanks, stuff like that. One of the things you want to talk about, let's get into solutions and get out of here. One of the things you want to refresh yourself with, Black is King by Beyonce on Disney Plus. Black is King. I think this came out during the pandemic, if I think 2020, if I'm not mistaken. Jay-Z's in it. She has an album called Black is King. It's based on the Lion King. And the visuals, the imagery, the sounds, just to put you in a space if you're doing some type of candle magic ritual. Um, Again, this is what I did. This is what I'm doing for this particular ritual. I'm lighting this candle, but I'm really more so conquering fears. You know what I'm saying? I'm really more so taking my fears into my meditations, into my safe meditation space, conquering them there, and then going out in the world and conquering them in the world and taking the steps. Nervous, like they say, even do it even if you're shaking. Do it if your heart shakes. Do it if your hand shakes, but do it. Once you do it, this particular cycle, especially these next 3-4 days while the supermoon energy is here, you're gonna feel. I don't tell you things that's coming just from books. You guys who follow me. No, I hardly give y'all books. I mostly tell you things that's come from my experience because words don't change things. Experiences do. I could give you the best book about a peach, and how juicy a peach is, and how sweet it is when you bite into it. But it's nothing until you experience biting that peach yourself to decide if you like it, if it's sweet, if it's sour, or whatever. So words don't change things, experiences do. So Black is King is one of those things you could get into while you're doing your work. When I'm doing, I feel like I said this before and I never got into it. But the candle I have, what I was directed to tell y'all through spirit is to work with frankincense and myrrh. Frankincense and myrrh, especially. Frankincense and myrrh, and light a candle. It could be really any kind of candle. If you really want to tap into that heart space and that courageous space, if you know you haven't been taking these steps, if you know you haven't been stepping out of your comfort zone, if you know there's certain patterns you need to change, if you know there's things you need to incorporate into your life, but you're scared to do it, or you haven't set up a plan, as well as Jupiter is retrograde, by the way, Saturn is retrograde. Okay. And guess what Saturn is retrograde in? Saturn is retrograde in Aquarius, which is what today is. So Saturn is all about organizing, planning, structure, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. So look at where you haven't been structured, where you haven't been organized, and mainly find spaces, especially during this Leo season, and while we have this supermoon and while we have this Sirius, the star Sirius energy, to figure out what is it that you need to do to break out of your comfort zone? What is it that you need to challenge yourself at? What is it that you need to learn that you're not taking time to learn? What is it that you need to move forward with or move into? What friends do you need to eliminate? What friends maybe you need to add, right? If you're always the person who sits out, who goes to an event and sits in silence, this weekend, talk to somebody, talk to a stranger, say hi. That's all you got to do. Just say hi. Start saying hi. Say hi to random people if you're a shy person. And if you're attracted to women, you might say, oh. But again, this is about lying, courage, right? So be this. If you're attracted to women and the guy is harassing, you could be the same person and say, oh, I'm not, no, whatever you got to say. I brought a boyfriend. I got a husband. I be lying, shit like that. But you know what I'm saying? Whatever it takes to get that person away from you if you feel. But hi is just a hi. It ain't gonna get you too much further. And I'm just giving you an example. You know what you need more courage in. You know what you need to be more organized in. You know where you need to be better, what you need to be better at, and where you are limiting yourself. Another thing I want you guys to really look at is your self-talk. Your self-talk. And not so much your nightmares. Not so much your nightmares. Not so much your dreams at night, right? Look at those as well. But your daydreams. Now, this season, I find that the daydreams are so important. Your daydreams are so important. How do you see yourself? I said this before. Who are you? What are you? What do you tell yourself for real, for real? When you look in the mirror, do you love yourself? Do you see yourself a beautiful person? Do you see a strong person, a wise person? Do you see a person that can overcome anything and get past anything? That's magic, man. That's magic. You know what I'm saying? Are you a person that is going to fall in line? Or are you a person that's going to resist when things aren't right? When things aren't, are you a person that's going to sacrifice? Quick story, right? Talking about lion, having a lion heart, an iron lion heart, right? Stepping into that vast energy. Do you know why the Cometians and why the Egyptians had cats all over the place, cats by their thrones? This particular thing behind me, they're called Acker lions. One means today, one means tomorrow, and the sun behind me is basically talking about you being in the moment or you being in the now. Okay, because the past and the future doesn't the past and the future are relative. The past is a lesson, the future is about decisions, but the now is the present, and the present is the blessing. But you know why they kept cats around? Because cats have the uncanny ability to see in the dark. They can see a cat, a tiger, a lion, a panther, the feline species. Their eyes, they're able to see and to see things in the dark that humans can't see. Their eyesight is superior. So this was a metaphor or a symbol, right? Symbolic, or the spirit of the cat, while they kept the cats close, or the spirits of those cats was representing a peek into darkness, a peeking into the subconscious, seeing in the subconscious, seeing in the astral realm. As Lionel said from Thundercats, sight beyond sight, right? Sight beyond sight. Thunder, thunder, Thundercats, right? Yes, it's Straight Panther. Yes, that's what's up, man. He said cats absorb negative energy and chase away certain energy, and they exist in dual dimensions. That is correct. It's because of their superior sight as well. But yeah, you're on point. So that's why they was fucking with the cats. Okay, that's why they was messing with the cats. So you want to get to the point to where you are. You want to get to a point to where you are not scared of shit. Oh, this is what I want to tell y'all. I got a homegirl. I know I said it's gonna be an hour and a half. It's probably gonna be longer than that, but I'll be off here soon because I got to kick in a ritual. The full moon actually kicked off 9:36 Eastern time, so I got some things I'm gonna do before the night's over. But I have a homegirl, just to give you a little bit about a lion heart and having the heart of a lion, and relying on spirit to take care of you and relying on your ancestors to take care of you. I got a homegirl. We're gonna call her, for the sake of because she might be watching this, we're gonna call her Mary, right? And Mary's a teacher, okay? But Mary's not just a teacher. Mary's a professor. So Mary's a great teacher, excellent teacher, right? Excellent to the point where she was featured in Time magazine. Okay, Mary was the teacher that was featured in Time magazine. Mary actually was out on a panel with the former president Obama. Okay, for her teaching prowess. So Mary's a big deal in the educational world. Okay, huge deal in the educational world, and was just ascending in that. Okay, right before the pandemic hit, that's when she was at that panel with the former president, okay, discussing education. And Mary's conscious, by the way. Mary's conscious and Mary's into her spirituality, right? And what Mary did was, Mary got notified, as the teachers here in New York City did, that you had to take the hokey pokey, right? You had to take the hokey pokey to work. And I assumed, I ain't gonna lie, I assumed that Mary was gonna take the hokey pokey because of her prestige, or find a way to. Well, I'm not gonna say that here, but I assume Mary's gonna take the hokey pokey. Put it that way. Mary didn't take the hokey pokey, so therefore Mary lost her good job as a teacher, making a decent salary, lost her classroom of kids that she loved, right, and was therefore unemployed, struggled, right. Not to mention before that, already had Mary just got off of had a health issue prior to, serious health issue that she overcame. Okay. So she just started getting back into a teaching bag for maybe a year. Then the pandemic hit. So now they're talking about taking the job. So she tells me, she's like, nah, Ryan, I ain't taking that. I ain't taking that. I'm not taking no hokey pokey. I'm giving her some alternatives. I'm giving them some alternatives. She's like, nah, I'm not doing alternatives either. I'm like, whoa, so you just going? She's like, yeah. Mary, 2022, not only did she get her own business after that, not only does she have her own business teaching, but now she's teaching classes in metaphysics. She's teaching classes in the law of attraction. So she's not only just teaching, but she's teaching spirituality as well and making money doing so by following her own path. That is a lion heart right there. That is trusting in spirit right there. That is your soul's purpose being bigger than what anybody else, what any other outside entity try to do. Her soul's purpose, and she knew she was living her purpose by teaching. And her purpose, even though it wasn't down that path because they put restrictions, her purpose still led her down another path. See, Mary is an avenger. She knows her purpose. She's living her purpose. She's walking in her purpose. And regardless if something tried to take her away from that purpose, she was able to pivot another way and still live her purpose. But not only that, maximize on it by teaching spirituality. What are you scared of? What are you triggered by? What are you holding yourself back from? Where's your emotional intelligence? Can you control your urges? These are the things you take into meditation and work on. Again, I've had people that I know personally that hit me up behind the scenes and they're like, yo, why do you always tell these people to do meditation? They don't have to. They could do this, they could do that. Right? And then I say, no, they can't. Because what did I say? Right? Words don't change things, experiences do. So when you have the experiences in meditation, they're able to change things. The reason I'm even on YouTube is because of meditation. I was nervous as shit to come on YouTube. People that know me back will tell you. Nervous. Through meditation is what got me here. I was nervous to learn about this occultism. But I knew how to meditate from just being a person that was always into positive information and uplifting information. And the meditation got me deeper into, let me from going from basic spirituality or metaphysics into occultism. And ultimately into African spiritual tradition. Occult just means hidden, right? It ain't nothing to be up in arms about. All it means is to be hidden. But until we get rid of a lot of these first world problems that we have, these first world issues that we had. Oh, I ain't going 50-50 with no man. Oh, well, she too big. We don't date big girls. Oh, I even heard some. I heard the dumbest shit I ever heard in the world today, and I was like, I feel sorry for these young boys. I was on YouTube, stumbled across a Manosphere video. With Manosphere is basically where they give advice. Men give advice to other men about women, and I stumbled across this video, and this boy said, he said, and I gotta call him a boy. This boy said, "Oh, I don't want men. We don't look for women with wisdom. We don't look for women because they have wisdom." I was like, speak for yourself, nigga. I don't want no dumb girl. I don't want no dumb, and you shouldn't want one either. I don't care how good she look. Because again, when you are intermingling with these people, especially in sex, you are exchanging energy, and one person is either gonna, and you could either be empowering each other, and if you're not empowering each other, which is what most people's sexual relationships are, they're not about empowerment. Is usually one person is selfish, and there's women that are selfish in sex. Trust and believe. Okay, same way there's men that's selfish in sex. There's women that's selfish in sex. So you want to look at that too. Okay, there's some relationships that you need to let go. There's some relationships that don't matter anymore. This weekend is going to be popping. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The dating apps are going to be popping. Okay, Venus is also in Leo. Venus went into Leo today till September 5th. So there's going to be a lot of sexual energy. Leo is a fire sign. So there's going to be a lot of sexual energy. Forget the moons. The moons is a super moon. I'm not saying it doesn't matter or whatever. It does matter. But the real focus is on, we just went through the Lion's Gate on the 8th. So obviously the focus is on this lion type of energy. Okay? This focus is on this heart type energy. And last, but no, not last. I'm going to share a couple things and I'm out of here. But I want to show you. I'm going to show you this. So now you see this, you see the homeboy, right? The cracker. Right? We ain't using the color, we just using the symbolism. All right. So this is an ancient portrait. Those of you who mess with Eliphas Levi's Baphomet, you'll see the same hand motion on the Baphomet, right? But I want to focus on this particular, not the white, not the skin color. I want to focus on the heart. Now, again, this is Leo season. Leo's fire sign, as I said, is dealing with the heart. Okay. If you notice, this is ancient, and I'm just showing you how to utilize symbolism, not necessarily, we're not looking at the race. I'm showing you how to look at symbolism. So if I see, let's say I was walking down the street, right? I'm walking down the street or whatever, and I saw, and this just happened, and I'm just walking, and this just happened to pop. I walked past this particular picture. What it's going to do is it's going to remind me of my purpose. It's going to remind me of what my true soul purpose is, and what steps did I take today to realize that. Okay. What steps have I taken this week to realize that? What steps have I taken this month to realize that? What steps am I taking on a day-to-day basis to realize that? Okay. That's what this picture is going to say to me. What is my soul's purpose? It's not going to say to me to pray to Jesus. It's not going to tell me to leave metaphysics and go to church, right? It's going to have a different, because I exist in the now. Okay. And when you are into this, again, it's not about being happy in the future. It's not about being happy when you get the money. It's not about being happy when you get rich. It's not about being happy when you get the boyfriend. It's not about being happy when you finally get that car, when you finally get that house. Because one thing's for sure is two things for certain. And I'll tell you, because I've lived various lives. When you get these things, and hopefully you all do, I want all of us, everyone, to get the things that they want in the physical world. You will see that, and you do this now. You buy new shoes, new purse, whatever. You get it, and after a while, it fades. You know what I'm saying? The rush of getting it and having it fades. You know what I'm saying? It's not, give it 1-2 days. It's not as popping as it used to be. And you could constantly chase that high by continue buying, 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 buying. And people do that now. They shopaholics. They shop, 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 right? Because they're trying to make sure that right, this image is upheld, but the inside of the person is taking pills, happy pills, right? They're taking antidepressants. They don't have good relationships with people. They are lonely. They're always argumentative, always angry, but they look good as hell. You know what I'm saying? They look good as hell. They're energy vampires, right? But they look good as hell. So this is, again, this particular picture is about the soul, ultimately, and the soul of Christ, not Jesus, but Christ. Christ being the anointing being the spirit of divinity, right? But if you notice on this particular heart, there is this crown of thorns, right? Normally they talk about the crown of thorns being on his head, but why is it on the heart? Well, it is saying that you are going to, and you see the heart is bleeding. You've probably heard of a bleeding heart before. The reason that it is bleeding is because you are going to, when you are, it's very easy to be part of the crowd. It's easier to be a sheep, right? You don't have to worry. When there's a new trend, you just follow it. More people are going to agree with you than not. You know what I'm saying? Because most people are sheep. When something happens, as long as you go along with it, you're safe. You don't have to worry about much ridicule. You don't have to worry about people talking about you as much. You don't really have to worry about people challenging your ideas. But when you are on this particular path of metaphysics or whatever, you're trying to just live a righteous way of life, and you're taking new steps and you're changing new things, and you're not going out as much, or you're not hanging out as much, or you're not doing the things that you used to do. There's going to be some hurt. There's going to be some pain. There's going to be some bleeding. Okay. But the fire, okay, of you bearing that cross of suffering, hallelujah, praise Haru, all right, of you bearing that suffering, of you embracing that lion heart, you embracing that courage, you walking the path courageously. Some of you supposed to be doing YouTubes. Some of y'all supposed to have more subscribers than me, doing way better than me, have whole spiritual stores. But you're not doing it because you're worried about what your mom's going to say. You're not doing it because you're worried about what your homegirl Cheryl's going to say. You're not doing it because you're worried about what your homeboy Jerome was going to say. Some of y'all supposed to be writing books. Some of y'all supposed to be masters, okay? But you won't step out of your comfort zone. This weekend, make a step. I don't care if it's one step. Make a step. You will be rewarded. Highly rewarded. Highly, highly rewarded. I did not want to do this video. I'm kind of tired, actually. But Spirit said, nah, let them know. This is probably one of the most important moons of the year. One of the most important ritual times of the year. And the reason is because, again, America is falling. We need leaders. We need people that are courageous. We need people that are going to stand outside the box. We need people that are going to replicate what the courageous people did in 2020. I'm not saying, well, let me not say that because I don't want to make anybody feel like they're not. They weren't courageous because everybody has to do what they got to do for their family. But the people who said, I'm going to make a way out of no way because I don't want to do this. And if you didn't do that in 2020, that's okay. There's going to be more opportunities coming up, unfortunately, because America's falling. So structures are crumbling. We're going to need innovation. We're going to need people to step outside the box. We're going to need people that's going to be able to take ridicule and take criticism, and are going to be doing things that nobody else does, and are going to be able to take that bleeding and that crucifixion, so to speak. Same thing when the Yeezys came out. Everybody said the Yeezys were ugly, but everybody's wearing Yeezys. Tiger's Eye. Tiger's Eye Gym. Tiger's Eye is all about Tiger's Eye is all about assertion, being courageous, doing what you want to do, when you want to do it, as you need to do it, right? Stepping into that space. Check my Sunday video. I talk about how to do men ab, okay, in order to suspend your breath so you can suspend certain thoughts. What else? Herbs you could get: St. John's wort, ashwagandha, St. John's wort, ashwagandha. Okay, those two herbs were antidepressants. If you're depressed, you're stressed out, don't worry, I got you. Go to Amazon, get you some ashwagandha, get you some St. John's wort. About a week, you'll feel better, guaranteed. I've given that formula to several people already, so I know it works. I don't even gotta ask you. Scientifically proven. Ashwagandha, St. John's wort. Drink that tea morning and night. You'll start to feel better. If you start on Sunday, you'll start to feel better by Wednesday, Thursday. And Hyjon root. Hyjon root looks like Hyjon root is good for gambling. It's good for courage overall. It's good for stepping out the comfort zone. Let me see. Let me share this so y'all can see it. So this is what it looks like. Hyjon the Conqueror. It doesn't look like much. It's not that expensive. Look, this is right here on Amazon. If you can, I would actually go to a Botanica that has this Hyjon, okay, and get it popping. All right. If you're going to Vegas, you definitely want to have some Hyjon root on you. Okay, going to the casino, you want to have Hyjon root on you. It's for good luck. This is also a good herb for men in particular. You know what I'm saying? Going to work, dealing with men, and could be clashes and whatever. Just to make sure, there's nothing like there's nothing like you having a clear mind, a peaceful state of mind, and somebody's arguing with you or coming at you with the bullshit, and then spirit just gives you the right things to say or the right things to cut them down. Because the spiritual thing is not about being a goody-goody. Okay, it's not about being, even the word righteousness. I kind of don't like the word righteousness because it implies that I'm supposed to be just good person all the time, when that's not realistic. Okay, some people are bad. Okay, so you can't be good to them. Being good sometimes is telling motherfucker no, stop, don't, shut up. Nah, that's being good. Okay, that's being good, and people don't see that, but that's being good sometimes. That's being righteous, for real. So anyway, that's Hyjon root, ashwagandha. I want to see something. Oh, create art. Okay, the word heart has art in there. All right, there's a lot of, even if you're not, I'm not saying make art where you're gonna be Beyonce, Jay-Z, Picasso, whatever, but create something. Create. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like Straight Panther said, creative energy. Create something. Create some art. You know what I'm saying? Something that you like, just for you. Doesn't have to be for anybody else. If you want to show it off, fine. But create draw a picture, paint a painting, write a rap, write a poem, write a story, draw. Get into your childhood creative energy, because I always say creators are the closest to God. Creators are the closest to God's power, to God power. Because ultimately, before there was anything, God created, right? The creator created. Whatever you want to call the creator, created. So the creators are the closest to the divine. Creators are the closest to the divine. So create. That's getting into that Leo energy. Also, you want to be playful this weekend. You know what I'm saying? You're talking to somebody, don't be so serious. Talking to the opposite sex, have fun. You know what I'm saying? You're talking to your homeboy or homegirl, have fun. Be the light person. Be the person that is the light in the room this weekend. Be the person that is joyful in the room this weekend. And if you are going through things, as I know a lot of people are in this particular climate, don't worry about it. Focus on what you need to do again to create and make your situation better. Don't focus on the problem, focus on solving it. And if you can't solve it right away, focus on being at peace and focus on being happy. Being happy and finding peace will give you the solutions to get you out of the situation you are in. And then you will start to find little breadcrumbs, like I say, little things will happen, quote unquote, lucky events that'll put you in the situation that you want to be. But again, spiritual intelligence is important. They just found out, they had a couple weeks ago, they said Aaron Rodgers was doing psychedelics, right? Tapping into that psilocybin. Tom Brady, New England Patriots, well, now, what is it? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. His wife is a witch, Giselle Bundchen. So this is how he won all these damn Super Bowls, because his wife is into magic. So it ain't as people that are not people think this is not like this is BS, this way of life, but it's really the truth. And it's really the best way to be. Fear is mental and physical. Remember that. So a lot of the diseases people have and the ailments they have is because of fear. It's because of limits. It's because of the comfort zone. It's because they don't want to step outside their shell. It's because they don't want to let people know who they are for fear of being ridiculed. But you better be able to hit them crossroads, like, okay, bear your cross. The crossroads ain't just for you getting a new car, right? Or you going into a new direction in your business or whatever. The crossroads are also about the decisions you make on a day-to-day basis. Are you going to make time for your spirituality? Are you going to make time for your inspiration? Are you going to make time to learn about your body, about your brain, about your diet? Things that affect you, about your children's astrology. I could be a better parent to them. Are these things that you are taking time to do? Or are you just working, eating, sleeping, watching YouTube videos, feeling good about it, and then going to sleep the next day? Are you cheating the shit like church? Or you come to hear the good word and the good sermon, and then you come, you know what pisses me off? Let me get off this computer soon. The Kempata. Let me get off the Kempata soon. But you know what pisses me off? When people say, yo, such and such said this. Or I heard such and such speaker say such and such about this. So the speaker said, yeah, we're all from we're all from the galaxy of Zelanthia, right? Then I asked, how do you know about Zelanthia? Where you get that from? You got to do your research. But you told me this shit. So shouldn't you have the research? Or shouldn't you know where to point me to go get the research? But that's what happens when you don't think for your motherfucking self and you let these motherfucking speakers on YouTube just tell y'all some shit that you don't research, you don't check for yourself, you don't see how it applies to you, and you run around, come to me, somebody like me, and regurgitate that shit, and I ask you to explain it and make it plain, and do you understand? Because 9 times out of 10, I'm challenging that shit because it doesn't make sense. And you tell me to do my research. Or you tell me, oh, I got to go back and watch it again. Well, don't fucking tell me and don't tell nobody else. until you understand what you got from that speaker. This is not church. Pride or die. Have some pride in the knowledge that you say you're acquiring, and make sure you truly understand it so you could regurgitate it or give it back to me in a language that is easy for me to understand, and a language so that I can understand it. What's the sense of you having this knowledge and you saying this is so deep just so you could come back and tell me so you could seem like you're deep to me, but you don't know what the fuck you're talking about? Because you didn't go back and check what you got from your spiritual teacher. You didn't research what you got from your spiritual teacher. You thought that the grass was green because they told you the grass was green. You thought you was an ADOS, a descendant of a slave, because they told you that you were a descendant of a slave. Instead of saying, am I really a descendant of a slave? Like that's how powerful I am? I'm really going to accept that as a title for me? For some fucking money that I can't even take with me when I leave this motherfucker? All for you to be in a comfort zone? Really? You're a foundational Black American, but you're not building shit now? But excuses? Man, get the fuck out of here, y'all. You know what I'm saying? You ain't building nothing but excuses. And why you can't. And white supremacy this. And white supremacy that. It's 2022. Your kids don't want to hear that shit. Your kids don't want to hear that shit about no white supremacy. They over it. And you should be too. You shouldn't even utter white supremacy. That shit should sound like, that's one of the things you should, everybody who's watching this should rid themselves of that shit from their fucking mouth, from their ideation, from their thought process. You're the supremacy. You and your family are the supremacy. You and the people that fuck with you are the supremacy. Ain't no white man. Ain't no white woman. And I'm gonna say that. I remember back. I used to say that shit back. And thankfully I wised up. So I'm trying to save y'all some time. When you say white supremacy, you're ultimately saying that the white man is supreme. Word is bond. In the beginning of the word was with God, and the word was God. Life and death come from the power of the tongue. When you say white supremacy, you're saying the white man is God. You are supreme. You are a supreme being. You are made of stardust. What's more supreme than you? We off that. It's 2022. We off that. Step into your purpose. Who are you, Avenger? Are you Thor? Are you the Hulk? Are you Hawkeye? Are you Spider-Man? We need super heroes. What is your purpose? Shout out to Ife. She's her purpose. She's gonna be running the schools. You know what I'm saying? In the new earth. She's gonna be running the schools by 2040. Her blueprint's gonna be running the schools. But all these kids that are growing up and they stepping and they meditating, they stepping into their powers and their psychic abilities and shit like that. And they 10, 11 and they looking at you, the parent, and you watching police brutality on TV, watching 8-minute police brutality videos. And you talk about, see, they always doing this shit to us. See, this shit always happens. I'm gonna tell you like this. This is the way I look at it. Y'all might hate me. Y'all might cancel me. I don't care. If the people who are getting shot by police, if their black ass cousins, uncles, nephews ain't riding, I ain't riding. I'm gonna say it again. If the people who are in the family of the police brutality victim Jalen Walker, Trayvon Martin, Sean Bell, etc., 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 fucking etc. If the men in that family are not going to ride for their own children, because I know the people on the other side got children too and family, right? But if they're not going to ride and they're just going to stay and get a settlement in a year, while I take on the stress of a Jalen Walker, I take on the stress of a Trayvon Martin, I take on the stress, lower my IQ, lower my vibration, possibly cause me disease, from being involved in someone's business. And again, this is where you have your, this is where the Sphinx comes in, as I talked about earlier, where your emotional intelligence comes in. But you know what to be empathetic about and what not to be empathetic about. You have to know when to use your power and when not to use your power. And I'll tell you this, as an empath, you can't control it. You can't control it. You just got to get a little fuck you in you. And fuck them in you. With your empathy. And it's not fuck them as I don't care about them or their family or whatever happens. I do. You know what I'm saying? I want everyone to succeed and I want everyone to get justice. But at the same time, the focus should be on you, your spiritual development, your personal development, and your magical self and your magical soul and your magical spirit. I'm reading, shout out to my man Adika Butler. I'm reading this book right now, The Homie and the Homie. And, you know, my ideas of homosexuality are changing. My ideas of Atlantis are changing. This is a powerful book. If y'all could get this, go to Adika's, this is his name. You could go to his Instagram. He's on Instagram, Adika Butler. I recommend following him on the gram. Smart brother. But this is a groundbreaking book. I'm not even going to talk about what's in this book until me and him got to sit down and talk about this book. That's how powerful this book is. But I am saying this is something new that he put into the ecosystem. There's spiritual and esoteric knowledge in here that I have not seen. And it's verifiable because I verify everything. But it's verifiable. But I have not found it until I looked in this book and I was like, oh, shit. This shit makes sense. And it's verifiable, right? So he's a writer, right? This is his purpose. Adika, he doesn't do many YouTube videos or many videos and things like that. But if you read this book, this guy's a master with the pen. Okay, that's his purpose. So again, yes, right, Ife. Yeah. Never a victim, always victorious. And that's this lion spirit that we got to get into. So again, Jupiter's retrograde. That's part of this time too. Look at where your abundance, what have you been doing career-wise to make money, etc. Does that need to change? Do you need to? Honestly, everybody should have more than one stream of income now. I mean, you should have some sort of income, more than one. 2 to 3. 3 is ideal nowadays. You can't trust just one source of income nowadays. Shit is too volatile. So you definitely need to have more than one. Again, this not be about waiting for reparations and somebody to give you reparations. Create your own reparations. All right. And use your segment energy to destroy whatever is not serving you. Eliminate what's not serving you. Step into your courage to do that. The people, the places, the things. Right. And again, the things that you're fearful of, make a move in it. You know what that is. I don't know you personally. Make a move in it. Do some art. Okay, artwork, create, art is in the word heart. So create from the heart space, something fun. You don't have to show it to anybody, just for you, just to tap into your childlike spirit. Watch some cartoons, you know what I'm saying? Tap into that childlike spirit this week. Tap into that childlike joy, you know what I'm saying? And also remember that you're going to have to bear your cross. It just is what it is. You got to get comfortable with that, empath. You got to get comfortable knowing that they're going to talk about you. They talked about fictional Jesus, right? And he didn't do nothing to nobody. All your prophets that you've heard about, they talked about Martin, Malcolm, etc., Marcus, everybody, right? They still had a mission and they still died, leaving a legacy that we look back on to this day. Again, Black is King, Beyonce, you want to check that out. Tiger's Eye is definitely one of the crystals you want to work with, stones, gemstones you want to work with and have on to break if you need energetic assistance in breaking through your comfort zones. I'll talk about St. John's wort and ashwagandha, herbs that'll help you feel better. Also, anybody has depression and anxiety, this is scientific fact. If you work out for 6 weeks, go to the gym 3 times a week, 6 weeks, your depression and anxiety will magically go away. No altar needed, no herb needed. If you start working out 6 weeks, your anxiety and depression will go away. Scientific fact. Look it up. I talked about High John root, right? Good for luck, strengthens, etc., etc. And we talked about the Sphinx, the Demiurge, Doja Cat cutting her hair, what that's a sign of. And yeah, the world is coming undone, but this does not mean you have to be undone. Walk your path, live your truth, okay? And be who you're supposed to be. And if you don't know who you're supposed to be, and you don't know what your purpose is, go outside, find a park, find water, find some nature, sit your ass down and ask yourself, what's my purpose? What am I here for? And wait for the answer. Nature will give it to you, I promise. And if you don't get it that day, keep going and keep asking, and you'll get the answer. But you should already know, because it's going to be something that you already love doing. It's something that you would do if they gave you no money. It's something that you would do and that you get lost in regardless. So a lot of people already know their purpose. They just don't want to do what it takes to do it. All right, y'all. I think I'm out. It's almost 2 hours and 30 minutes. So I don't want to make this forever, because I do want people, whoever's going to watch this Friday, maybe Saturday, I do want people to get this information. I do want people to understand that, again, this is one of the most powerful weeks of the year. Not only the Lion Gate on 8/8 that people were already putting energy in, but there's a friggin' solar storm that the planet is going through right now. Tomorrow morning, when the sun rises, Sirius will be in the building. Sirius will be rising with the sun. Literally, there'll be 2 stars in the sky, and that'll be happening up until like the 22nd or the 23rd of this month. So literally, there's double the solar energy. Your melanated being, you have literally I'm walking around right now with Black Panther suit. Black Panther's suit, I say this all the time. What did he do in Black Panther? And converted light into energy, and he was able to use that energy for other things. It's the same way you're able to take this light, convert it to energy, and use it for manifestation. Last but not least, and I want to impress this on y'all as I close my damn notes, then as we're going into the 2-minute and 30-minute mark, I'm going to say this at least 3 times. Matter of fact, 4. Spirit said 4. Make it a square. Watch your thoughts in the day. That's 1. Watch your daydreams. That's 2. Watch what you're thinking about during the day when you are in your work mode, when you're in driving, when you are in the bathroom, when you're brushing your teeth. Be cognizant, be aware of what you're saying to yourself about yourself. And last but not least, program your daydreams. When you wake up tomorrow morning, if you can, go outside. If you have nature or whatever, go outside in the morning when that Sirius is rising. with the sun, man. Go out there, make your wish, speak things into existence, do some sun gazing if you can. If you can't do none of that because of work, that's fine. The main thing you want to focus on this weekend again, and I want to stress this because Spirit's telling me, even when I'm talking to y'all, I'm hearing it. Tell these niggas again, your daydreams. Okay, this is solar energy. This is the energy about movement. You're moving during the day. There are certain times, like a Scorpio season, where you're going within, and it's mostly within, and you're just your inner thoughts and spirituality and inner mysteries, right? But this Leo season is about fire. It's about going out. It's about making the leap of faith. Okay. To my fellas, my gentlemen, I gotta show y'all love. This weekend's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be, you might get some strange calls. Okay. All right. You gotta get some ladies, you might get some strange calls. All right. This is that type of weekend. Okay. The energy is gonna be heavy, heavy, especially this weekend. It's gonna be heavy energy. It's also, on the flip side, it's gonna be a lot of violence. Okay. It's gonna be a lot of relationship issues. People are gonna be arguing a lot. Okay. It's a super moon. That's just what it is. And people are not in tune with this energy, so they don't know what to do with it. It's gonna be so much energy, it's going to be also lead to, unfortunately, violence. Okay, so you want to be careful out here. You definitely want to be walking around. One of the protective stones, I wear seals, but one of the things you could wear is any black stone is protective. So you could get black tourmaline, black obsidian, right, black onyx. And the reason black stones are protective is because, again, what I told y'all, what I always tell y'all is, when you are paying attention to something, there's an exchange of energy. It's never one sided. There's always energy going and energy coming. Entanglement, quantum entanglement. There's always energy going, energy coming. So when you focus on something, um, I was fucking, I lost my thought. What I want to tell y'all? Anyway, focus on your daydreams. Focus on your daydreams, right? And when you're focused on something, make sure that, and again, I'm not telling you to be focused and you can't, watch your whatever fuckery, joke, silly shit. I watch, I watch fuckery, silly shit too, and all that. You know what I'm saying? But just make sure you're not overindulging, especially this weekend. Make sure it's not damaging. If you can fast, day fast during this weekend if you can, right? Just eat in the morning, breakfast. During the day, when you feel hungry, you start to read spiritual things, watch spiritual videos. This is where the time where you could focus on your daydreams and what you've been thinking. Do some mirror work, look at yourself, say affirmations to yourself, right? Pride or die, all right? Have pride in yourself for the right things. Not just pride because you're attractive, or not just pride because you think you look, or not just pride because you got some money, or you got a house, or whatever external thing, but pride in being the person that you are. Pride in the fact, and of course, start each day with gratitude. Start each day with gratitude. Tomorrow morning, tonight, once you get off this live, find things to be grateful for. Because gratitude is what takes you from the root chakra to begin with. When you are doing chakra work, and I don't want to get too far, but gratitude is the starting point to get you out the root chakra. Then you go to the sacral and everything else. But without gratitude, you ain't going nowhere. You're going to be stuck in survival and trying to figure out and triggered by every single thing, which is what a lot of people in this community, they're stuck in the root chakra and don't even realize it. And they're triggered by everything. And then you have these trigger speakers who are telling you the worst. Oh, wait, this next thing is coming. Oh, be careful. I already warned you, right? Titling their videos that way. And they keep you in a state of fight or flight. That's not good either. That's not good either. Keeping you worried about the next thing all the time. All right, y'all. I hope this helped someone somewhere. I appreciate you taking your time to listen to my black ass. I appreciate the viewership. If you want, please hit the like button. If this helped on the way out, I appreciate it. If you want to donate, the Cash App is down there. I'd appreciate that too. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the viewership. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and light my candle, drink some water, light my candle, start my ritual, and enjoy the rest of my night and have fun until I fall asleep. Already got the meditation in. So, but I will be up in the morning. I might go live with y'all, but I definitely will be up in the morning. There's a park close to me, so I'll be up. So I might go live with y'all, see if I can see Sirius with the sun. That would be dope with y'all. But if not, I'll see y'all soon. The next video I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be decoding Nope, and I'm gonna be decoding Thor, Love and Thunder. So I'm gonna decode both of them one video, and I'm gonna show you the parallels to what's happening in those movies to what's happening now, and how you could use those signs and symbols in these particular films and apply them in your day-to-day spiritual practice. All right, y'all. Peace. Oh, wait. Peace, power, and prosperity.